You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. So listen responsibly.
Louisville's own DJ Ice. DJ Ice. You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price. It's the best of the best. It's the one and only DJ Ice, Louisville's coldest DJ.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. So listen responsibly.
Hey, welcome to Conscious Fever. I'm Carl Price here on this crazy night. Welcome to Conscious Fever here on Conscious Fever Radio, Ice Entertainment Television. I am Carl Price, your host. I hope you all can hear me. Tell me y'all can hear me. Just give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me. I'm going to get on my phone here so I know. Let's see here. Okay, great. Welcome to the show tonight. I am doing something very interesting tonight. I'm going to look at y'all on my phone if that's okay. Turn my phone off. Hopefully everybody has had. There we go. Yeah, y'all can hear me because I can hear myself. Anyway, welcome to Conscious Fever, Ice Entertainment Television, Conscious Fever Radio. I am Carl Price, your host. Excuse me. Got a fun-filled show tonight. And I'm hoping y'all are going to have as much fun as I am. We're going to talk about a couple of things tonight. We're going to talk about something very interesting. We're going to talk about the NCAA Final Four. I'm going to start off by talking about that, see what y'all think about that. I don't know what y'all think about that, but there's a lot of Cinderella. I almost said S-H-I-T, but there's a lot of Cinderella stuff tonight and this year with the NCAA tournament. So we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to also talk about a story about paying college athletes. I don't know if y'all realize that this is coming down the pipe. And this is really interesting stuff, just FYI, because just imagine that if college athletes, if it's okay to really pay college athletes. We're going to talk about that tonight. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the George Floyd trial and what's been going on in that trial and some of the dynamic testimony. I know we've only heard from the prosecution at this point, but we're going to sort of dive into that tonight. And if you want to comment, you can always do that. You can do it here. I'm watching you. I'm hoping I can see everybody's comments. I'm just gonna go along with the flow here. I see you if you're churning in. Anyway, remember, you see what's scrolling up top. Remember that. That is it's showing you our topics tonight. Paying college athletes, the Final Four, and we're going to talk a little bit about the George Floyd trial. Also, remember about all the places that you can catch us on. We're also going to hear some music tonight. I hope y'all will be patient with me as I play some of the music I like. I have been promising that I was going to play some jazz, specifically some jazz by R.L. Walker out of Baltimore. And we've been sort of screwing that up. So we're going to let you listen to that tonight, show you that. We showed it to you once before. We're going to show it to you again. In addition to that, my favorite group from across the continent, the Imani Malay group from Africa. So I hope y'all will enjoy the show tonight. I'm here because I just want to be here. I want to be with y'all tonight. I hope y'all want to be with me tonight. Y'all are wonderful people. I sort of learned to start saying nice things. I think when you get older, that's what you do. You just start saying nice things just for the hell of it, and because it makes people happy. So, if you want to comment, feel free to comment on some of what it is we're talking about tonight. But before I get started with the show, I'm going to pause just a second, and when we come back, we're going to talk about a few things here. And actually, before I go, I'm going to actually move some things up because I need to do that. Let's see, let me put that right there. And then I can actually do that. So in any case, I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back from the grapevine, but when I come back from the break, we're going to talk about these NCAA Final Four teams. Who's going to take away the crown on this second odd pandemic NCAA tournament? So stay with us. We'll be right back. Got some new features for you tonight, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm Carl Price. This is Conscious Fever here on Ice Entertainment Television, Conscious Fever Radio. We will be right back.
The corporation, the government, rebel pride, and I'm loving it. So true to the covenant in the harshest conditions. Physicians still cutting it, gotta gash it through mutton it. Still looking and button it. Coat my life how I like, so you can zip it and button it. We out. R to the top, what the sun is the blackness. If you heard something different, your information's inaccurate. We beasts in the game because we monsters in practice. And they said do it big, so your boy went Galactus.
You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price.
Louisville's finest, DJ Ice.
I have wept and I have fallen. Don't you worry about me, 'cause I stood up, yes I have grown. The pain has set me free, and like a broken record in my head.
Welcome back to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price.
Hey, welcome back to Conscious Fever. I am Carl Price, your host here on Conscious Fever Radio, Ice Entertainment Television. I'm going to change something up just a little bit here because I want to talk to y'all about some things, and I hope I can do that. I know I'm hiding myself. I hope y'all like this this way or that way. Let's go this way. Look at that guy, man. What y'all think about that guy? I like that picture. That's a younger picture of me, just only about 10 years younger. But it's when I actually looked good, and unfortunately that has changed now. But in any case, listen, I'm going to talk to you all about, I'm going to take this out just for a second. I'm going to talk to you all about a few things here. Let's talk about something that came from the Bleacher Report. This is a story from the Bleacher Report, but it talks about the NCAA tournament. And as you all know, the 2021 NCAA men's tournament, the men's tournament had quite a bit of tricks up its sleeves this year, and some of those, believe it or not, are just happening right before our eyes, right? So let's talk about this. Hopefully I've got somewhere I can actually talk about it, but maybe I don't. I'm actually going to change something here. Let me do this. Yeah, change it right here. So the 2021, I'm gonna show y'all some clips here, if y'all are okay with that. If I can, maybe I can't. Let's do this again. Let's try this again. Anyway, here we go. So the 2021 NCAA Final Four put off, of course, as you all know, another upset, a shocking upset. Just several things that we were left talking about for the NCAA tournament. So Interesting stuff here. The 2021 NCAA men's tournament had one more trick up its sleeve for the final game of the Elite Eight after favorites Houston, Baylor, and Gonzaga punched their tickets to the Final Four. UCLA pulled off another shocking upset to become the fifth number 11 seed to reach the national semifinals in tournament history. With the Bruins now becoming the first number 11 seed to actually win in the Final Four, or is mighty Gonzaga going to continue its quest for an undefeated season? Imagine jumping in a time machine in 2008 and trying to explain that UCLA will be the plucky underdog to perennial title contender Gonzaga. On the other hand, there's another half of the bracket. Will it be Baylor or Houston, the Texas team, getting a shot at its first national championship in program history? Let's talk about the teams. The Houston Cougars, the record 28-3, their number 2 seed in the Midwest region. Their path to the Final Four was 87-56 win over number 15, the Cleveland State, 63-60 win over number 10, Rutgers, and 62-46 over number 11, Syracuse. 67-61 over number 12, Oregon State. The biggest strength is they are ranked number 1 in defensive effective field goal percentage, and of course, as we know, they're ranked number 1 in defensive effective field goal percentage and number 2 in offensive rebounding percentage. Their Achilles heel, they're ranked number 136 in offensive effective field goal percentage and number 151 in defensive rebounding percentage. How about that? How about the Baylor Bears? The Baylor Bears, their record is 26-2, number 1 seed in the South region. Their path to the Final Four was interesting. 79-55 over number 16, Harvard. 76-63 over number 9, Wisconsin. And 62-51 over number 5, Villanova. And 81-72 over number 3, Arkansas. How about that? A big shot at it. Their biggest strength is they are ranked number 1 in three-point percentage and number 3 in defensive turnover percentage. Interesting, huh? Their Achilles heel, however, they are ranked number 273 in defensive rebounding percentage. So that might be a dagger for them. How about Gonzaga? Gonzaga Bulldogs, their record is 30-0. They are the number 1 seed in the West region. Their path to the Final Four was really pretty easy. 98-55 over number 16, Norfolk State. 87-71 over number 8, Oklahoma. And 83-65 over number 5, Creighton. 85-66 over number 6, USC. Their biggest strength, and you know they have a lot, y'all, right? They are the best 2-point percentage in KenPom history, right? Their Achilles heel, are y'all ready for this? Absolutely none. None at all. How about the UCLA Bruins? Their record is 22-9. They're number 11. They are the number 11 seed from the East region. Their path to the Final Four was the most impressive, 86-80 overtime win over number 11 Michigan State, which although Michigan State was number 11, Michigan State was pretty good, right? 73-62 over number 6 BYU and 67-47 over number 14, another Cinderella team, Abilene Christian. 88-78 overtime win over number 2 Alabama and 51-49 screecher over number 1 Michigan. For the Bruins, their biggest strength, limited turnovers, 15.8% of possessions, and solid 3-point shooting with a whopping 36.9%. But they have a lot of Achilles heel, right? They're ranked number 166 in opponents' effective field goal percentage. Okay, but that's one. But that is actually a lot. So. Interesting stuff here, y'all. Very, very interesting stuff that we're talking about tonight. Really, hands down for the NCAA Final Four. Who's your pick? Tell us about that, right? We want to know who your pick is for the Final Four. I would tell y'all I don't like making picks, but when I do, a lot of times they win. But I think UCLA might pull this one out. I don't think Gonzaga is the shoe-in as everybody think they are. So, I might be wrong. I've been wrong before. But something else is very, very interesting about, college athletes. And maybe a lot of y'all probably know this. So I'm going to talk a little bit of politics. Let's talk a little bit of politics, y'all, right? The Supreme Court appears willing to side with college athletes against the NCAA in compensation cases. There's a compensation case now pending before the Supreme Court. Arguments were held on Wednesday, and it's very, very interesting takeaway from the arguments. Division I student athletes, what they're doing here is they're looking to poise for victory, and they look very good according to the response from the justices in their Supreme Court battle against the NCAA. And this is over whether the organization, NCAA, may impose restraints on compensation related to education. Now, you all know that some have called this some part of modern day slavery. I don't want to get into that discussion tonight, but I find it very interesting that here in America, your worth is tied to your talent, right? If we play a video or something on this show, somebody's going to come after us and they're going to want to get paid. But it's not the same for college athletes. So in the Supreme Court, during 90 minutes of arguments held by phone only Wednesday because of the pandemic, the justices appear skeptical of the claim made by the NCAA that payments to students for things such as musical instruments and internships were sire fans who are drawn to the amateur quality of his competitions. The case is the latest. I keep hearing stuff buzz, y'all. I don't know what's going on. The case is the latest legal challenge over the NCAA's compensation policies and comes amid a high-profile and related push by student athletes seeking to profit off their own names and images and likenesses. The NCAA's March Madness basketball tournament will hold its championships, as you all know, for women and men on Sunday and Monday. Justices appointed by both Republicans and Democrats seem persuaded by arguments made by the attorney for the student athletes. His name is Jeffrey Kessler, that the NCAA is violating federal antitrust law with its restrictions on the education-related payments. A federal district court struck down those restrictions, and the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed the decision. The case was brought by Shawnee Austin, who was a running back for the West Virginia Mountaineers and other student athletes. Here's a quote: "These are competitors all getting together with total market power fixing prices," according to Justice Elena Kagan. Now, she told Seth Waxman, who's the NCAA's attorney and a former United States Solicitor General. Elizabeth Preligard, the acting Solicitor General, argued in favor of the student athletes. Now, Waxman centered his arguments on the contention that the NCAA sports has always been defined by their amateur quality, which he said means that student athletes are not paid to play. He said that education-related benefits, whatever their labels, he's quoted as saying, are effectively professional salaries. The last time the Supreme Court made a statement on amateur athlete compensation was in the 1984 case, the NCAA versus the Board of Regents of the University of Oklahoma. It said that amateurism excludes payments for athletic performance. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what the Supreme Court says this time around. Be really, 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 really interesting. Well, let's get into talking about George Floyd. But before we do that, I do want to take a quick musical break. If you all are okay with that, I'm just gonna take my chair. I'm sliding out of my chair, y'all. I'm gonna take a quick musical break. This is something that I've been promoting for the last few weeks, and for somehow we've not been able to get it on and promote it the right way, but I think we showed it one time. But this is a jazz artist out of Baltimore, Maryland. His name is R.L. Walker. He's a good friend of mine. And if you want to check him out, his latest his latest, let me make sure I get this here. His latest project, let's grab that. His latest project is coming big, and his name is R.L. Walker. But he's going to take us into this break. And this break, he's going to just listen to this jazz music. And if you like it, go check him out on all the platforms and actually purchase his music, because it's really good listening dinner music and just all around chill music. Take a listen to Taking Flight by R.L. Walker, and right after that, I Need You by the Amani Mele group from across in Africa, and then we'll be right back.
here with my cup filled with pain. I can't seem to make a single stride. Oh, my strength has been wiped away. I can't make it on my own. I need you to come and fix my heart. I am broken. I need you to take this weight. It's so heavy, Jesus. You are my only hope I have. I need you, Lord. I need you. Day by day, I sit by and pray that my life will still shine again. As time passes, oh, my hope is dimming. Now I look so frail and lost.
I need you to come and fix my heart. I'm broken. I need you to take this weight. It's so heavy, Jesus. You are my only hope I have.
I need you, Lord, I need you. With my last bit of strength, I call on you, Lord. Fix my life, make me whole again. Jesus, Jesus, Savior Jesus. Lord, please fix my broken life. Lord, please listen to my cry.
I need you, Lord. I need you every hour. I need you. Bless me now, my Savior. I come to you.
Come fix my heart. Oh, I need you every hour. Bless me now, Savior. It is so heavy, Jesus, you. I need you, Lord. I need you. Oh, to come and fix my heart broken. It is so heavy, Jesus, you are my only hope I need you, Lord. I need you.
Hey, welcome back to Conscious Fever. I'm Carl Price, your host here on Conscious Fever Radio, ICE Entertainment Television. Thanks for joining us tonight for the show. Let's talk about George Floyd. I know many of you all have been watching the trial of Mr. Chauvin. As you all know, he is charged with one count of second-degree unintentional murder, one count of third-degree murder, and a third count of second-degree manslaughter. His trial is going on, and you notice I didn't mention his name. I call this the George Floyd trial because I really do believe that we all need to be praying for justice for George Floyd. If you all have watched like I've watched, you all have seen that the prosecution is really painting this police officer, former police officer, as a monster, and to a certain extent, that was some monstrous stuff. Over 9 minutes. We all thought it was 8:46. I think we did a show here with 8 minutes and 46 seconds, but the reality is that this thing was over 9 minutes. I mean, the way the prosecution is putting on this case, and of course your comments are welcome. Please give me your comments tonight. I would love to know how you guys feel about this. But the interesting thing is that the way that the prosecution is presenting this case is, in my opinion, and I'm not being biased as a former prosecutor, is really terrific, really terrific, because from my vantage point, what I see is that they are showing a man who is terribly a monster. And I don't know if you all have seen what I've seen, but this is inhuman. This was completely inhuman what this police officer did to this man, and nobody with a badge should even feel like they have that much authority that they can treat another human being like that. I don't give a damn if he's high on drugs. I don't give a damn, and whether he was high or not is a whole nother question, because the man was 6'7" and over 250 some odd pounds, from what I understand, or at least between at least 200 pounds. So drugs have a different. I would have been stoned out of my mind. I don't know about this man, but I think that remains to be seen with the evidence as it's presented in the trial. But to have a situation where you have individuals that are saying, let him up. He's not resistant. He's not breathing. He's saying, I'm not breathing. And of course, it touched all of us that he was yelling for his mom, right? So, but this thing is really interesting. And I don't know if you even have to be human. You are absolutely right, Brother KP. Thank you, Brother Shaw. I also want to thank you guys. I just want to take a moment here and just say thank you all that are joining us on the Conscious Fever channel. Thank you for those who are joining us on the YouTube channel, and for those who are watching on the Conscious Fever website, as well as those who are watching on my personal page. But man, this man must be a monster. And let me just tell y'all what my opinion is before I get into really what happened today. My opinion is this: if this man is convicted, and I hope he is, because seeing this play out once again in front of our eyes is just horrendous, and I think it's just a punishment to all of us, quite candidly. Greg, I don't know if this is the entitled attitude. Let me just do some things here and show some of these comments, if my page would. I'm not sure if my page is going to allow me to show these comments. Let me see here. There we go. Is that the entitled attitude? Probably so, Greg. It probably is the entitled attitude. I don't know. You're absolutely right, Brother KP. Thank you, Bubby Shaw. But really, let's just consider this just for a second. I don't think that the jury is going to convict him for necessarily having his knee on his neck. I think the jury is going to convict him based upon his demeanor, because his demeanor was so ornery, as if, one, I'm entitled to do this, Greg. I'm entitled to do this, and that's why I'm doing it. That's number one. And number two, this whole thought that, you can do this and get away with it, right? It's almost like a what is the best description here or analogy? It's almost like, I want to say a jury thief. It's almost like a jury thief, right? There's a jury thief that basically that says, I'm going to do this because I know I can get away with it. And so the smirk on his face, I think, is going to get him more time than anything. And the fact that you had a paramedic. She wasn't a paramedic. I learned during this trial the difference between a paramedic and an EMT. But you had an EMT that was out there and said, I am an EMT. And what did the police do? They say, get away. In fact, at one point, the police officer pulled and reached for his taser. So, this is, I think that's what's going to convict him. I don't think anything else is going to convict this man, quite candidly, but that. Because you cannot be that callous. You cannot be that, you cannot feel that callous. You cannot be that callous. You cannot feel that entitled. And you definitely just can't do that to a human being. I mean, this was ridiculous. So, it's painful watching this trial, although it's powerful about the prosecution. Should we be looking at his training? Officers are trained to use this tactic. Interesting point, Brother Yah. Interesting point. And I think that is probably the angle that the defense is going in this case, is that this man hasn't done anything wrong, that he was, in fact, that he was doing this because he was trained to do this. But we just have to keep this real. Now, some things you can blame on training, and some things, man, it's just human common sense. I mean, you don't press your knee. Use that tactic. And what I understand about that tactic, that is a tactic to restrain somebody, severely restrain somebody, right? And it killed this man. So should you blame it on training? I think a lot of behavior that we see from police officers today, pulling the trigger too quick and different things like that, I think it's a mixture of custom, culture, and training. But I don't think you can sit at a criminal trial and say, this is what they taught me to do, and this is why I did it. We all have this natural ability to know, basically to use our common sense and to know the difference between when something is going too far. Listen, I was a prosecutor, but I never thought that I had the authority to just throw somebody in jail with no evidence whatsoever. Unless, of course, that was a custom. I thought I could do it, but I never thought that I could really throw somebody in jail without any evidence, knowing that they were not guilty, not even a scintilla of evidence to convict them. I knew the difference between that. Nobody had to train me to say, this is what you do. At some point you stand up and say, you know what? I'm human. I got a brain. This is something that I shouldn't do. So, it's very interesting, but today 2 paramedics took the witness stand this afternoon in this murder trial, and they told the jurors that George Floyd appeared to be in medical distress or dead when they arrived at the scene. I don't know if y'all saw that, and the jurors listened to their testimony and watched body camera footage from an officer inside the ambulance on yesterday. They sat through hours of police body camera videos. And when viewing the video of Floyd's final moments, bystander and witness Charles McMillan, who was 61, broke down sobbing on the witness stand as he recounted his memories of last Memorial Day. The video shown to the jurors revealed that McMillan confronted the police officer, Chauvin, as the ambulance carried Floyd, as the ambulance that was carrying George Floyd pulled away from the scene. Sirens blaring. McMillan told Chauvin, the police officer, he didn't respect what he had done. And y'all won't believe what Chauvin said. He said, that's one person's opinion. He was sitting calmly inside his police car. And this was all shown on the body camera video. Chauvin further said, we got to control this guy because he's a sizable guy and it looks like he's probably on something. Right? As y'all know, Floyd died in police custody on last Memorial Day, May 25th, 2020, after Chauvin pinned his knee against Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes. We thought it was 8:46, so there's now we know it's 9 minutes. And he's charged with all of these charges. I'm gonna take some more comments here, just so we can play them out. Our friend Dr. Pruitt, I think it is a setup. They are getting people ready for more rioting. They are so predictable. That's interesting, Dr. Pruitt. You never seem to disappoint us. But I'm going to tell you this. I don't think it necessarily is a setup. I think that there is more than just enough evidence to convict this man. And I am confident, as I sit here today. I've been wrong many times. That's why I don't predict who's going to win the national championship, all this, because I'm wrong all the time. And I hope I'm not wrong on this, but I think they're going to convict this man for something. And God bless America and God save America if they don't do that. But Dr. Pruitt, I had to tell you that I don't think it's a setup. I'm just not there yet. Pretty young lady, I'm just not there yet. But we'll see. We'll see. So is this intentional? I think it absolutely is intentional, John. Yeah, I really do believe it's intentional because, intent is defined in the law not just by your state of mind, not only by your state of mind, not let me just put it this way, not by your direct state of mind. In other words, he came out of the house today, he responded to that scene for the sole purpose of kneeling on George Floyd's neck and killing him. That would be direct intent, right? But there's many ways that prosecutors can prove intent. And that is that the behavior is just reckless, that no human being, no reasonable person would do this. And an interesting piece in the trial today, quite candidly, an interesting piece in the trial. I don't think it was today. I think it was a couple of days ago because I had a deposition all day one day, so I missed a lot of the trial, but went back home and watched it on YouTube. But one of the interesting points was, and I think this was in the opening statement of one of the prosecutors, and it was that, a police officer has the authority to use reasonable force, but it has to be reasonable the whole time. So just because there was some need, if you believe that, I don't necessarily believe that there was a need to necessarily restrain George Floyd from the video footage that I've seen come out in this trial. I think there was a need to get him in the car. Okay. He said he was claustrophobic and just didn't want to get in the car. But I believe that, but what they're saying is that, police officers have this authority to use excessive force to restrain somebody. But at some point, when that excessive force, when you realize that that excessive force is unreasonable, then you need to cease. And I think that's the problem in this particular case. But of course, we should see. We should see. The timing is so predictable. They want and need more loosh. I'm going to ask you to post a comment and tell us what loosh is, Dr. Pruitt, because I'm lost on that one. But I really don't believe that this is some type of setup, Dr. Pruitt. I really don't. But I will. And but I'll be looking out, just to see. I really don't believe that there's a satellite on the moon analyzing everything we do, and it's all predictable. I've been wrong before. Greg, you have to tell us. I'm sorry, yeah, Greg. You have to tell us why you're saying, "Oh my God." I would love to hear that, my friend. I think I know why, but I'm just gonna stay right here. I'm gonna stay right here and just leave that alone. That will be hard to prove. I see why they have manslaughter in there. Well, I think smart prosecutors seek a conviction when they believe that the evidence is there. So I think they have manslaughter in there because it really depends on how the evidence comes in, how the evidence is channeled, that, what the jury's going to be able to hear. And I think that's going to determine, quite candidly, what he would be convicted of. Listen, the reality is this, y'all. It's hard to convict police officers because the law says it is. Now, if we want to convict police officers, we need to start changing the law. And whether that's a smart thing to do or not, I don't know. I don't know if it's a smart thing to do. I'm still here trying to figure that out because, listen, we need the police for protection. We all need the police for protection, which brings me to another point that I'll make, here in just a second. But listen, we send police officers every day out to the cities and communities, not necessarily bad communities and good communities, with the authority to keep just order, right? And we give them a firearm to use in the event that they need to use it to keep just order. So you have to give somebody that you give a firearm to keep just order, some leeway in the law. And I get that. I think the problem is that I don't think any of us want to really defund the police. I don't think any of us really want to see a policeless society, right? I think we just want reasonable police officers to be behind that, reasonable people to be behind that badge. But I'm going to take the opportunity to really say this, and I'm probably going to offend somebody when I say this. And quite candidly, y'all know me here. I don't necessarily care whether somebody's offended by some of what I may or may not say. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that I believe that, we make a big uproar about. Let me just tell y'all this. And if y'all want to throw darts at me, y'all can throw darts at me. But I'm going to tell you this. Y'all can, we make a big deal about a white police officer abusing his or her authority and killing a black man, right? And this is the problem I had with a lot of the protests this past summer. Okay, I'm just gonna lay it out. I know some of y'all agree with me, and some of y'all are afraid to say that y'all agree with me, but we made a big deal about that. But there was one week in this city where I think it was like 7 or 8, young black men were killed, presumably by another black person. And I didn't see a whole lot of protests downtown about that. So I'm trying to figure out if black lives really matter, or do they just matter when it's a white police officer pulling the trigger? I'm just saying, y'all can say what y'all want. Y'all can castrate me if y'all want, but I'm just saying, that's something we need to think about, y'all. That's something that we really need to start thinking about, because I believe that we can curb the crime in our communities where the victims are primarily people who look like me. We can curb that criminal behavior by doing the same thing that we did for Breonna Taylor, that we did for George Floyd, for Arbery, right? We're not in the streets yelling about the fact that a black person was killed. Yeah, there was a black person killed in Breonna Taylor's apartment. It was Breonna Taylor. There was a black person killed outside of Cups Food Market in Minnesota. The only difference, and the similarities is they were killed by white people and we just went crazy. But every day I mean, I don't have to talk about Chicago, but every day, this is what we see. We see black people being killed by black people, and nobody's making a big deal about it. I don't get that. I'm going to tell y'all, I don't get that. Maybe one day somebody would explain that to me, but I think that if you call yourself a true civil rights leader, then you need to embrace every victim. If it's just black victims, then you need to embrace every black victim. Those are the ones that have been killed by white police officers, those the ones that have been killed by white people, and the ones that have been killed by black people. Because the numbers of those that have been killed by black people are far more. Now, I'm not saying we turn a blind eye to what white police officers are doing or anything like that. All I'm saying is that, man, we need to open our damn eyes. I mean, we need to open our eyes and deal with this issue. Here we go. I think Dr. Pruitt has a definition for us of loosh. Let's take a look at this. Loosh is energy that people emit when they are angry and fearful. Nefarious people and beings feed off our loosh. That's why they do these things, murder and commit violence. Okay, I think I've heard that before. Dr. Pruitt. I think I've heard that before. Loosh is the energy. And I don't think George Floyd's family feel like that, he was killed. I don't think anybody would volunteer to be killed for loosh, right? To get that energy out there. I don't know, Dr. Pruitt. Maybe you can help me with that. You're correct. There's a lot of violence committed in our communities every day, and yet we are silent. Thank you for saying that. Why don't more people say that, Dr. Pruitt? I'm just trying to figure that out. Why don't more people say that? Why don't more people talk about the fact that there's so much violence in our community, so much violence that are killing people like us, and we don't say a damn thing about it? I don't get that. That's one thing that before I leave this earth, I'm going to try to figure out while I'm in America, if I don't move to Costa Rica or somewhere else in this great continent or world of us, of billions and billions of people. There ain't no money in it. That's where the crump's in. That's where the crump's in, only for the money. John, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. I think Crump had a lot to do with Breonna Taylor's family getting a $12 million settlement. So I'll take Crump. But I don't think that. I don't know, man. What do you people do all day, man? Everything is doubtful. Everything is a conspiracy. I don't know, John. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know if I believe that Crump's present takes credibility away from, basically what's going on. Just me. But seriously, y'all, I think we really, really need to deal with this black on black crime issue. And we need to talk about it more. We shouldn't be ashamed to talk about it. With technology, you don't have to be a public snitch. I mean, if you want to call it a snitch, I don't call it a snitch. I call it doing your civil duty. You see something, say something. But so many people are afraid to do that. And I get it. Some people live in communities that they cannot escape from, and they have to live around that, and they don't want to be the next target, right? I get it. But, there are ways of getting that information to the people that need to have that information. The authorities need to have that information. I think the authorities ought to do a better job in protecting people that basically give them information. I said this to a homicide detective before he unfortunately prematurely passed away here in Louisville. I said to him, we live in a world of videos. We're solving so many issues with videos. I mean, in the criminal context and in the civil context, as a trial lawyer, I can tell you the first thing I want to do is put my hands on a photo or a video because it's out there somewhere. I know we joked at one point on this show about seeing somebody getting the living daylights beat out of them, not by the police, but just by another civilian. And the first thing that people did, they started, that's all you saw. You didn't see anybody stopping the fight. You didn't see anybody trying to help anybody. You just saw somebody basically, waving the cell phone. But that has been a godsend. What if there were no cell phones in this case? Right? We meant to grab the video, and I wish we had the video, but we meant to grab the video of how the Minneapolis police came out and what they said when they first came out. Right? The first thing that they said about this. They said, oh, he was waving his hands, he was doing all of that, and that was a damn lie. That was a damn lie. So, the body camera video, I've said it once, I'll say it before, y'all. I think that police officers, who don't use their body camera video, I think they ought to be terminated on the spot. Period. Because we now know how important that stuff is. Look at the Arbery case. Right? Look at the Arbery case. There was nobody charged in that because until the video surfaced. And of course, one of the people who surfaced the video, now he's charged with murder. But, check that out. I mean, think about that. Really think about that, how important it is that our public servants always have their body cameras on. Or their wearable video surveillance, WVS is what they call it here in with Louisville Metro. They should always, have that on. And if you look very closely at Breonna Taylor, the video will solve that case to the extent that somebody would be charged with murder for her death. Just got to look at it very, 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 very closely. Is really what you have to do. Some of the characters, I'm going to get to the comments here in just a second. Some of the characters in the trial, I don't know if you all saw that, but this lady here, man, she is awesome. She is a really, really good prosecutor, and she is outperforming everybody. I mean, everybody. She is obviously extremely skilled. She used to be the lead federal prosecutor, I think in another state or maybe in Minnesota. The judge is doing okay. Of course, this is the defense team. This guy here was very interesting. And for those lawyers who are listening, I would tell you, if y'all were watching this like I was watching this, I thought to myself, how did the judge let this man give an opinion that the way the knee was on George Floyd's neck was murder? How did that ever come in? Well, I'm going to tell you how it came in. It came in because the defense sat there and didn't object. That happened to me in a trial once. I sat there, not in a criminal trial, in a civil case. I just sat there doing something else, and all of a sudden this stuff is coming in. And it made a difference in my case, in the outcome of my case. But yeah, the defense never objected to that. That man shouldn't be given, this guy here shouldn't be giving opinion about what murder is and what is and what isn't murder. But anyway, but he did, and that's the way that panned out. Anyway, let's get to some more comments here. Mr. Yah, there ain't no money. That's all. We've seen that comment. Junior Hughes, I've talked to some Black Lives Matter members. They realize the community is in crisis, but they don't put the same energy behind speaking against black-on-black crime, against law enforcement, white officers. Let me bring that back. White officers killing unarmed black people. Yeah, why is that, Junior Hughes? Why is that, man? Why is it that they don't do that? Why is it I would love for somebody from Black Lives Matter to come on this show and say that they believe that Black Lives Matter all across the board, and not just when black lives are taken away by white people or white police officers. I'm just saying, somebody criticized me for bringing that topic up once because they say, well, you're just taking the focus off the fact that there's police brutality. Bullshit. A death is a death. Period. A death is a death. And we need to address them all. Junior Hughes, I also could have sworn that until freedom was supposed to stay in Louisville until justice was served for Miss Taylor. So was that summed up with the settlement? Ooh. You touching a nerve there, Junior Hughes. You are touching a nerve there, buddy. Money. Sometimes it may make a difference. I'm gonna give you some applause for that, man. That's. I don't know the answer to that, man. I got to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. What do y'all think? Okay. Well, what do y'all think, right? Okay. All right. So I guess they think that way. To Corey Arthur, black people aren't sworn public servants. Them killing other citizens isn't comparable. When you add our conditions to the mix, it's even more of a far-fetched comparison. Our poverty is our demise. Ja'Cory, okay. Yeah, I agree with that. But Ja'Cory, don't you agree with me that a life is a life, man? I mean, why do we even have to have a comparison? I mean, tell that to the young black man that was killed last week here in Louisville. Tell that to the family of the young black man that was killed in Chicago. Or actually, when I'm watching this George Floyd trial, I can tell you I am seeing reports of murders up there in Minnesota. Tell that to those families. I mean, come on, man. I'm going to ask the blatant question, like, are you serious? Black people aren't sworn public servants. What difference does it make if you're sworn public servant? Does it matter if a relative of yours was killed by some thug? Does it matter? Does it really matter at the funeral that, that's okay. I don't feel as bad because it wasn't killed by a public servant? Come on, Ja'Cory. I'm not going there, buddy. I don't agree with that at all. Them killing other citizens isn't comparable. I think it's very comparable, man. Very comparable. So much so I'm going to bring that back. And when you are in conditions in the mix, listen, man, we can talk about poverty and the PTSD, the post-traumatic slave disorder that a lot of us still live under. Even those who are professional and we have mastered this thing about get a college degree, get an education, get a law degree, make a lot of money, drive good cars, live in a good neighborhood, buy a big house, educate your kids, send them all your kids to college, give them everything they want. We do all of that, but there's a lot of us that are still living with this PTSD. But man, I don't agree with that. But I think, Coach Ja'Cory, I'm going to tell you this, man. I really do. I respect you a lot, but I think that is the problem in our community. That is one of the problems in our community, is that we find ourselves justifying that it's okay for black people to kill other black people, but we put the brakes on it when white people do it. I don't get that, man. I don't get that. Maybe you ought to come on the show and help us try to understand, really what that's all about. But I'm telling you, you're going to lose me there, buddy. You're going to lose me there. Anyway, I'm going to take your last comment, then I got to get out of here. I love to come on your show to discuss. I'm a sworn public servant, councilman for Metro District 4. We are held to higher standards. And Ja'Cory Arthur, you didn't have to tell me that, buddy. I encourage people to vote for you because you had a different persona. You had a different approach. And I like that. And I would love for you to come on this show. And we don't really have to debate. I can tell you, man, I don't normally bring... I've been offered to talk about a lot of topics. And for instance, Umar Johnson, when he was in town, I was given the opportunity to really talk to him and bring him on the show, let him remote in or come to the studio. But I refuse to do it because I don't debate black men publicly. I don't think that's a good look. But I will tell you that we can squarely talk about some of these issues. And listen, man, you're doing a wonderful job for District 4, so, keep up the good work. But I know who you are. But yeah, reach out to us, man. Shoot us an email, consciousfever@gmail.com, and we'll get you on the show, or kplawyer1@aol.com. And we'll get you on the show, man, because I really do believe that we need to have a meaningful discussion about black on black crime. And I think we need, and I know, Ja'Cory, I got the microphone and I got the viewers, so I can actually say this, and I know I'm going to give you, but listen, we need to have a meaningful discussion about how we control this. Then, once we control it, how we stop it, right? Because I don't think there are any families at all that are okay with a loved one being killed, and I don't think they sat in the pew in a church at a funeral, looking at that casket, looking at the remains in that casket, and say, could have been worse. You could have been killed by a white person. Death is death, man. The emotions are still the same. Anyway, Jacory, you are welcome, and you get the last word here. Listen, everybody, thank you for joining us here on Conscious Fever. I would encourage you all to learn a little bit and check out the trial. Check out. So on this side, check out the trial of this man, because I am hoping that the skill set of the prosecutors that I'm seeing, I really do hope he gets convicted. And I hope he gets a lot of time, and I hope he gets more than 10 years. Y'all remember that's what the officer got for killing that Bothon in Dallas, who was having a bowl of ice cream in his living room. Never will forgive ourselves on that. Anyway, remember this week coming up is a Final Four. Also, this is Easter. This is Easter. This is Easter week. And so I want to wish everybody a good Friday. For those of you who are Christians, enjoy Easter. This is a little somber for my family. I don't know about my other brothers and sisters, but it definitely is for me, because we lost our mother in January, and normally we would have Easter dinner over her house. It's not going to happen. My mother took pride in, making Easter dinner. So, she's not here with us, so it's going to be a little bit somber. But for those who are Christians and celebrate, God, I'm thinking of the seven, oh my God, Pastor, I wish you could help me. The seven, God, I always get a blank when I'm in front of this camera, y'all. I'm sorry. But anyway, happy Easter to everybody. I'm going to get out of here. This has been Conscious Fever. I'm Carl Price, your host here on Conscious Fever Radio and Ice Entertainment Television. You see at the top there, I want y'all to continue. That's not Passover, Dr. Pruitt. I appreciate that, but it's not I wasn't thinking about Passover. It's the last seven sins, or the last seven slayings of Christ. It's something like that. We celebrate it in my church, and I just can't get it. Feast of unleavened bread. Okay, Dr. Pruitt. Okay, but in any case, some of us still don't have in-person church services, so we're a little twisted by that. But in any case, listen, enjoy Easter. Yes, thank you, Lamontrose. I just get a blank of the seven last sayings of Christ. Yes, and it was right on the tip of my tongue. I knew it began with S. Thank you, my brother. And by the way, that's our website developer. If y'all need a website, hold on, let me get back to him. If y'all need a website, get with this man. You're doing a wonderful job, Lamontrose. Thank you so much, my friend. For the seven last sayings. But in any case, happy Easter to everybody. I am going to get out of here, but I'm going to give you seven last words. Absolutely. Bubby Shaw, Connecticut. Bubby, I hope you watched the show last week, man. We talked about Yale University and its ties to the institution of slavery. I hope you caught that, man. I know they named the building or something after an African-American female, but they got to do more, man. They got to do more. They got to contribute to the reparations. Just my 2 cents. Those are Jewish holidays during this season. It's my culture. Oh, Dr. Pruitt, I did not know you were Jewish. I didn't know you were a little black Barbra Streisand or a little black Cher. Okay. I'm with that. That's hot. Dr. Pruitt is Jewish. Words. Okay, Bubby, we got that. 7 last words. Okay, got it. Anyway, listen, this is Conscious Fever. I'm Carl Price. This has been Conscious Fever, the Conscious Fever show here on Conscious Fever Radio, Ice Entertainment Television. Remember to continue to check us out on Anchor FM, YouTube, and all the other platforms. I know you missed it. Mr. Shaw, but that's okay. We catch everything here. We have eyes and ears. We have our third eye working here. This is our third eye. But catch the South Preston Street podcast. If you're not doing anything, it's on Anchor FM and on the Conscious Fever Radio channel. I think you would enjoy the discussions. Listen, I'm Carl Price. Until next week, happy Easter and be safe. Good night.
You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price on 97thebeatfm.com.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh yes it is. Then I go to my brother. And I say, brother, help me please. But he wind up knocking me back down on the knee. Oh, there've been times that I thought I couldn't last for long. I'm able, Father, to carry on. And it's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it is, yes it is, yes it is. Said I know that a change is gonna come one day. I know a change gonna come. Yes it is. I know. Said life can be hard. Oh yeah. And times can get rough, but still I know. Change gonna come. Oh, 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 oh. It will. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Oh, yes.
Alright. Ready?
Let's go ahead.
Motherfucker. What the fuck wrong with you?
Bro, you gotta touch it.
Oh. I was there watching. Okay.
Welcome back to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price on 97thebeatfm.com.